Welcome back. One final point before we go tonight. Today is Holocaust Remembrance Day. On this day, 2/3 of millennials in our country don't know what Auschwitz was. But millennials complain instead about being oppressed by capitalism and the top 1%. 41% of Americans as a whole can't tell you what happened at Auschwitz. But we're told our public school system works. 6 out of 10 college students don't remember reading anything about Auschwitz. 22% haven't even heard of Auschwitz. But they want safe spaces for themselves on college campuses where they stifle the free speech of people like Ben Shapiro or anybody who disagrees with them. Of course, liberals aren't worried about government tyranny. A majority of the upcoming generation doesn't even know what happens when government takes control, when government becomes tyrannical. Of course, it doesn't resonate with young feminists when we say, wow, Planned Parenthood's founder Margaret Sanger was a eugenicist. They don't even know what that means. Of course, these Parkland kids don't worry about what will happen to the people if the government disarms us. A majority of young people don't even know that before Adolf Hitler exterminated 11 million people, 6 million of them Jews, he disarmed them. He took away their guns. Of course, the media won't give any traction to reports about Democrats' ties to Louis Farrakhan, the radical hate preacher who called Adolf Hitler a very great man. 4 out of 10 Americans don't even know what Hitler did to people at the Auschwitz death camp. Or the story about Charlie Gard, the British baby who was pulled off life support by the government against the wishes of his parents because the government didn't think Charlie's life with his disability was quality enough to pay to keep him alive. Of course, that story was quickly forgotten. 66% of Americans under the age of 34 don't know that people with any kind of disability or physical weakness or people who were old were marched in a line to the gas chambers at the Auschwitz concentration camp and gassed to death. Maybe it makes sense that the hideous idea of attacking whiteness and telling white people that they have inherent white privilege, that it's in their DNA to be racist, maybe it makes sense that this doesn't strike a chord and scare people in our country. Almost half of the people in our nation don't know that Adolf Hitler mass murdered people at Auschwitz because of their skin color, because he said their DNA was inferior because of their skin color. Less than 100 years ago, 11 million innocent people were exterminated because the government didn't like their skin color or their nationality, because they were gypsies, Jehovah's Witnesses, Jews, the disabled, homosexuals, the elderly, people with any kind of illness or ailment or weakness. 1.3 million people were sent to Auschwitz. 1.1 million of those people were killed. 1 out of every 6 of the 6 million Jews who were killed during the Holocaust died at Auschwitz by cyanide gas, execution, starvation, or medical experiments that will make you throw up if you read about them. So for 10 minutes today, I challenge you to turn off your TV. Put down your smartphone, stop taking selfies, stop posting on Instagram, and look up what happened at Auschwitz. Don't be the 66% of our generation who doesn't know what happened. Watch a video of an Auschwitz survivor talking about what it was like to be there. Read a book written by the men and women who are our age, millennials, whose grandparents or great-grandparents were killed there or who helped fight to liberate it. This next generation has a choice, an opportunity to keep protecting our freedom so that this never happens again. And if we don't know what happened, if we don't read history, then we'll be doomed to repeat it. And that's my final point. You can reach me on Twitter at Liz_Wheeler. If you liked the show, please send me an email at oann.com/contact. In the meantime, catch us here tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. And until then, have a good night.